Hello everyone and welcome to my MOAB skin tier list. A little over 9 months ago, I made a video making a hero skins tier list, so I decided why not do it with MOAB skins. Anyways, let's start off with the weakest of the MOABs, of course MOAB. We're going to start with the base MOAB. I'm going to give this one, I think it's a C tier. I guess it's alright for kind of, a base skin. Nothing really too fancy or flashy or anything, it's just okay. The next one is the chocolate MOAB, which was I believe an Easter event. I'm gonna put this one at the top of C ahead of the base MOAB. Again, it's really just kind of a little bit of a slight redesign, like it just has stripes and everything on it. It's an alright skin, I can't really kind of complain too much about it, but I mean, it's just okay. It's slightly better than base. But I mean, it's nothing like too fancy or anything. So for the MOAB Mauler, I'm actually going to give this one B tier. Because I do think it is kind of a bit funny that, this is just the MOAB Mauler skin. Because it's pretty accurate. And it's really just kind of like a recolored, I guess, just MOAB Mauler. But even so, I think it's like pretty cool how, Ninja kind of saw the MOAB Mauler looks pretty similar in shape to a regular MOAB. So they just kind of recolored it, sized it up, and then just boom, called it a day. Sure, you could say, a bit like uncreative, I guess, but I don't know, I like it. I think it's pretty cool. So this is the BTD4 Retro MOAB. I'm gonna give this immediate S tier. Mainly just because BTD4 was the Bloons game I played the most before BTD6. Like, I think I started playing BTD6 around when BTD3 first came out. I play that like every now and then, like kind of in elementary school when we were in the computer lab. But like BTD4 is when I really started playing BTD6 a lot. I think mainly just because when BTD4 came out is when I first got my own personal computer. So I was able to play BTD4 kind of a lot more than BTD3. Just because with BTD3 I just kind of had to wait until we had like computer lab time in elementary school. So immediate S tier for nostalgia purposes, as well as the fact that I do kind of like it kind of hints that there are 4 ceramics inside. So it really just kind of like, kind of hints of what the threat it is. So for the MOAB skin, I think I'm going to give this one, I think I'm going to put it in the middle of C tier right now. Actually, no, I think I'll put it at top of C. I'll put it at top of C. It's a pretty cool, I guess, concept in design. It's just okay. I do kind of like bumblebees IRL, just because I kind of see them fairly often. I believe there's probably like a nest right next to my house. But I don't know, this just doesn't really kind of do it for me. Like when I see this, I'm just like, oh cool, it's a bumblebee skin, versus like seeing a bumblebee IRL. It's like, oh wow, it's a bumblebee. I guess it's because this skin doesn't really kind of capture just how fat bumblebees are IRL. It is kind of funny to see. For the boat MOAB skin, I think I'm gonna put this at top of C tier. Just mainly because playing with the boat MOAB skin in an actual game, it just kind of looks weird in my opinion. Like the design itself is fine, but just I don't know, just like playing with the boat MOAB skin in an actual game just looks weird to me. I don't really know how to describe it or kind of like why that is, but like every time I use that skin in an actual game, I'm just like, it just looks off and out of place. Like the design itself is fine, but just like in an actual game, I don't know, it just doesn't make really much sense to me. I guess just because the design is a huge departure from like kind of the rest of the MOAB skins, as it doesn't have like the kind of, I guess oval like shape that the other MOABs have. So for the frozen MOAB, I think I'm going to put this one in A tier. I don't really kind of play with the skin too often just because, the retro MOAB skin exists, but I mean, if this one didn't exist, I'd probably play with this one all the time. I really do like it. It looks pretty cool. Kind of having like a frozen, I guess, MOAB I think is quite interesting. I do kind of wonder why Ninja didn't really like make more of these. This is kind of the only one. I do wish they would, as the kind of frozen ice MOAB I think would look pretty cool. Or they could go for like kind of an elemental theme, having like a fire BFB, like an earthen, ZOMG, a steel. Actually no, DTs are already steel, so they had to do maybe like something with darkness, like dark magic. And then for the BAD, purple, I don't really know. But regardless, I still think pretty good skin overall. I do like it. I'm just unfortunate that the retro skin exists, so I just use that one mainly. So for the football MOAB, not really too sure. I don't think I've really actually played with this one in an actual game. I think I'll just kind of put it at the... I don't want to put it at the bottom of C tier because I do think it's better than base. I think I'll put it kind of in the middle. Even though I am American, I don't really watch football. Doesn't really interest me. I guess it's just kind of like an okay skin. Well, again, a little bit kind of like a slight redesign. It's really... They really just kind of took the base MOAB, then just kind of put the... I don't really know what these are called. But I guess they just put this lacing here as well. It's just kind of smoothed out the sides like an actual football. But it's just okay. I can't really like fault it or say it's bad. It's just not really for me. Pufferfish MOAB, this might be controversial, I don't know, but I'm actually gonna put this one in D tier. I just don't really like this one at all. It just feels a little bit out of place, if you just kind of know what I mean. It does have, I guess, the basic design elements of the MOAB, but I don't know, just like whenever I just kind of play with this one, I'm just kind of like, yeah, it's okay, I guess. It's not something I'd really ever use. I don't know, it just doesn't really do it for me. Alright, with that is all the MOABs. Let's go on to the BFBs, starting with the base BFB. I'll probably put this one at the bottom of C tier. Again, kind of the same thing with the kind of base MOAB. It's okay. Nothing like really too, I guess, special or exciting about it. It's just okay, you know, it's just kind of a base thing. So I guess we'll just move on to the pizza BFB. I think I'll put this one at B tier behind the MOAB Mauler. I think it's a pretty fun design. I think this is the kind of first and really kind of the only design here that's kind of based on a food. And I definitely wouldn't have expected NGHUI to kind of make a BFB skin that's based off pizza for a BFB. But I mean, it is pretty creative. It's pretty fun. And I do kind of like how, like, when it gets damaged, it looks a little bit more burnt and whatnot. So that's a pretty nice, I guess, attention to detail, I guess you would call it. So yeah, pretty good skin overall. Definitely do like it, but I mean, I don't really use this one too often just because there are better skins in my opinion. For the Bats BFB, I'm gonna put this one in F tier. I really don't like this one at all. Mainly it's because it doesn't really strike me as a BFB when I look at it. I couldn't really figure out why that is, and I think it's just because it doesn't really look as red. If you compare it with the kind of base BFB, or just kind of like other BFB skins, it doesn't have a bright, vibrant red like you kind of would expect from a BFB. It's kind of a bit dull and dark and whatnot. And the design philosophy, I guess, is somewhat similar to a BFB, but when I look at it, I'm just like, I can't really see much BFB-ness in it. I would... If I didn't know this was a BFB skin, you could honestly fool me into me believing that this was like a new class of MOAB class balloons. Alright, so for the lobster BFB, I think I'll just put this one, I think I'll put this one behind the pizza BFB. Pretty fun skin overall. I do kind of like how NinjaHUI is doing like kind of like a little bit of a set with kind of like a sea creature MOAB skins. And I do kind of like how, I guess, the lobster BFB does make sense. It would be kind of funny if this was a MOAB skin, because I do believe blue lobsters do exist. It's just that they're incredibly rare. So that'd be kind of funny, but you know, lobsters are of course red lobsters is what most people is familiar with. But yeah, pretty cool skin. I do kind of like how the lobster looks pretty angry too. Definitely does kind of fit with kind of the BFB aesthetic, as the BFBs just look kind of angry. The spaceship BFB, it kind of reminds me of that spaceship from Little Einsteins, I believe it's called. So it gets bonus points for that. So I think I'm going to put this one, I think I'll put this one in A tier behind the kind of Frozen. Mainly it's because it really kind of reminds me of that ship from Little Einsteins, but even on its own, it's a pretty good skin. I do believe I did use this one quite a bit before other BFB skins came out. I believe mainly just kind of the retro BFB skin. But I can't really remember that too well, as I did start playing BFB6 a long time ago. But yeah, it's a pretty cool design overall. I do like it. Definitely does feel like a kind of BFB aesthetic. It's kind of sad that it doesn't have kind of the angry eyes that, you know, the BFB is kind of known for. But still, I do like it, definitely recommend this one. So for the next BFB, it is the Lantern BFB. I think I'll put this one, I don't really have any strong opinions on this one, so I'll just kind of put it at C tier. Like I said, don't have any strong opinions on this one. I'm just kind of like, it's alright, it's there. Nothing really, I guess, too special. I believe this skin launched with Ravine, so I guess, I don't know, I guess fun fact for you. But even still, I'm just kind of like, it's alright, it's there. I don't have any strong opinions on this one, so I'm just going to put it at the bottom of C tier. So the next one is going to be the Retro BFB. This, of course, is going into immediate S tier for the same reason that the Retro MOAB is here. Definitely do kind of like the retro look, and I especially do like how they kind of kept the original design for the Dart Monkey on here instead of, like, you know, updating it for the BTD6 Dart Monkey. I do like that a little bit of attention to kind of detail here. So yeah, it's gonna go up here with the kind of retro MOAB for the kind of basically the same reasons. It's just nostalgia purposes. Chocolate BFB, I think I'm gonna put this one in D tier ahead of the Pufferfish MOAB. Kind of for a similar reason as the Bats BFB. This one is a little bit more pink than red, so it's kind of, it's a little bit awkward in that regard. Yeah, it does look like BFB, you know, has the kind of same, I guess, design features and the kind of angry eyes. But still, it's just a little bit too pink, whereas, like, when I think of BFB, I kind of think of, like, a bright, vibrant red, like how it was, like, with the base BFB and BTD6, and the kind of red stripes on the Retro BFB also do have some right redness to it. This one's just a little bit too pink for my taste. It feels a little bit desaturated. Alright, so that's all the BFBs done. Let's move on to ZOMGs. Starting with the base ZOMG, I think I'm actually going to put this one into B tier. I definitely do kind of like the base design of the ZOMG. I do like it quite a bit. I've always liked it since, like, you know, BTD 5 days. But here I just think it looks pretty good in 3D. I definitely do like it more than the kind of base other MOAB skins overall. So I do like it. I think it looks pretty good. I definitely do recommend it. I probably would use this a lot more if there just wasn't others. The others being the Turtle ZOMG, which I'm actually going to put at the bottom of, actually not bottom of A tier, I'll put it in the middle of A tier. The Turtle ZOMG I think looks pretty good. I like how Ninja Kiwi is kind of having like a set with kind of like, you know, sea creature, MOAB skins. You know, they decide to do the turtle for the ZOMG, which I think does make sense because, you know, when people think turtles, they think of, like, you know, green, and like the design philosophy of ZOMG is really just kind of like green and I guess gray, not really black, but still I do like it. I think it looks pretty cool. I do like how it kind of has some scarring up here, but yeah, pretty good skin overall. Do recommend it. Watermelon is going into bottom of S tier. Do like it quite a lot. Like having the ZOMG just be a big watermelon I think is pretty funny overall. That's mainly the reason. Watermelon itself is pretty good fruit, do recommend. But even still, like, just having, I feel like Ninja Kiwi just kind of like looked at a watermelon, someone in the company like imagine it as a ZOMG, and they're just like, hey, what if we just make a ZOMG a watermelon? And they were like, yeah, let's do it. So yeah, pretty fun skin overall. Do like it a lot. But I do have to say, I do like the Jack-o'-lantern ZOMG just a little bit more, so I'll put it ahead of the kind of standard watermelon. Jack-o'-lantern ZOMG, I think, is the skin I currently have equipped on my ZOMG. I do like it quite a lot, and I do kind of like how in-game there's kind of a little particle effects around like its eyes and mouth, so I think that's pretty fun overall. I do like the skin. I do kind of like that kind of little particle effect. Gives it a little bit more flair and character. Alright, so next is going to be Steampunk ZOMG. I'm going to put this one bottom of A tier. I do like it. I do like the steampunk aesthetic. I think it looks pretty cool. This one, again, is just mainly just kind of, in my opinion, just outclassed by Turtle, Watermelon, and Jack-o'-lantern. Like, if these three didn't exist, I would definitely use the kind of steampunk ZOMG. I think I did use it briefly, but not for very long. But yeah, I do like it. I think it looks pretty cool. And I think just kind of overall, the ZOMGs, in my opinion, have the kind of strongest balloon skins designed, which I guess makes up for the fact that there isn't really too many ZOMG skins, but I mean, every ZOMG skin so far has been really good. Alright, so with the ZOMGs done, let's look at DDTs now. Base DDT, I guess it's gonna go in C tier again. I don't really have many strong opinions of it. It's just an okay design. It's kind of like, you know, the rest of the kind of the base skins. They're okay, you know, it's really just kind of like a blank canvas for other skins in my opinion. Don't really have any kind of strong opinions on this one. It's just alright, it's there. Slay DDT, I think I'm gonna put this one at the bottom of C tier. I mean, it's alright for, I guess, a holiday themed skin, although I can't really see anyone actually using this outside of like Christmas time, because, you know, that's where it's based off. So it's just kind of it's okay, you know, it's alright. You know, I don't really have any kind of strong opinions on this one. It's just there. The arachnid or spider DT, I think I'm gonna put this one, I think I'll put it at the top of B tier. I do like it, even though this is kind of like a Halloween one. I can definitely see people using this, like even not during kind of Halloween times. I think I did use it during those times, like, you know, fairly briefly, but not really like kind of too long. But still, regardless, I think the design of it is pretty cool. I do like how it has like webs for like kind of the, I guess, fins of the DDT. And so I think it's pretty fun, cool design overall. I guess people who are arachnophobes probably wouldn't like it. Now I think about it, when I look at this design, this kind of reminds me of the kind of jumping spider, just with like its 4 large eyes here. Although in reality it has, I believe, 6 because those 2 small ones at top. But yeah, it kind of reminds me a little bit of a jumping spider, and I like those guys, they're pretty cool. Neon DT is going at the top of A tier. Neon DT I think is the DT skin I have equipped currently. And I do like it, and I do find it kind of funny that this skin does offer a little bit of a competitive advantage, because it's pretty easy to see when neon DTs are decamoed. It's not like that's really like too much of an issue, just because, well, BT6 isn't really a competitive game mode, so, or not game mode, a competitive game, so it's not like it really matters if you can see whether or not they got decamoed earlier. As well as the fact that, you know, decamoing might not be too much of an issue if you just have a village, so it doesn't really matter if they're decamoed or not. So yeah, I do like it. I do kind of like the kind of futuristic aesthetic overall. Definitely was kind of modeled after Cyber Quincy, I believe. The design of those two seem too similar for them to not be kind of based off each other. Shark DT is going, I think I'll put it behind Neon DT. Not quite S, but I do kind of like it. I like the kind of aesthetic here. I definitely would like this as a plushie. Ninja QE should definitely make a Shark DT plushie. I would like buy like 10 of these. Regardless, I just kind of like the way it looks. And that's really about it. I do kind of like sharks. I really think they're pretty cool animals. It's a bit of a shame that most people are scared of them, but it's somewhat understandable. But regardless, I think this is a pretty cool looking skin overall. Definitely am a fan of the Shark DT. I don't really use it just because I think Neon looks a little bit better. But I do use Shark DT from time to time, just not very often. And I do kind of like the fact that whenever a Shark DT gets decamoed, it has like a tag on its top dorsal fin here, just kind of like how sharks and other animals get tagged on their dorsal fins. Alright, so those are the DDTs. I guess we'll move on to the final MOAB class balloon, which is the BAD. Starting with the base bad, I'm just going to put this one into, I'll put it C tier, kind of below the BFB. It just kind of feels like the BAD is just an upscaled BFB, just with an extra, I guess, engine on top, and just kind of removing of these kind of little half moon things. As the design philosophy of those two is pretty similar, it just kind of feels like Ninja Q, where it's kind of like, oh, we want to make another bigger MOAB class balloon, but we don't know what to come up with. Let's just take the BFB, just make it larger. That's basically what this is. The design philosophy of the two is very similar. Although I guess it does kind of make sense, because when you look at the kind of MOAB to BFB, they just has like the eyes here, the half moons, and 2 extra engines. And then ZOMG is somewhat similar, as has a football shape, so I guess I can't harp on it too much, but still, you know, it's just kind of eh. The skeletal bed, I think I'll put it at the top of B tier. This is the MOAB skin I have equipped at the moment. I do plan on changing it because it's actually not my favorite skin. It's just that I just never really bother to. Just because you see the BAD so infrequently in kind of standard game modes that it's just kind of like, you know, whatever. So I just never really kind of bother to change it because like you only see like a bad, like if you're playing a standard game of champs, you only see like one bad in the entire run. So, you know, it's like if the one bad you see doesn't look really that good, it's just kind of like, whatever, who cares. So even though it's not my favorite skin, I have it equipped just because I don't really bother to change it. The design itself I think is okay-ish. It kind of reminds me of Dry Bones from Mario. So that's really just kind of about it. It's an okay skin. The BAD whale I think I'm going to put at the second to bottom of B tier. I like how this kind of rounds off the kind of sea creature look they were going for with the MOAB skins. I do like it. It does make sense that the BAD would be a whale. It's just kind of, I don't really know, I just don't really like the movement of it. It just kind of feels a little bit strange, like seeing it, I guess, kind of swim through the air, which is basically what it's doing. I think it looks a bit strange. But now that I look at it, this kind of reminds me of like the Pokemon Whale Lord. That might be what they were based this off of, but who knows, who knows. Still though, I do like it better than the Skeletal Bad. I would change it to this, but I just never really bothered to. Pinata Bad, I think I'm going to put Pinata probably at the bottom of A tier. Actually, I'll put it ahead of Steampunk. Actually, no, I'll put it ahead of the Space one. This will be my final placement. I do like it. I think this is a pretty cool skin. Even though it is kind of, I guess, a bit basic. I guess you could call it that, just because it's really just kind of like a fuzzy, I guess, fuzzy BAD. And of course, like when you do damage to it, like there's candy inside so you can see, which I think is pretty cool. I guess nice attention to detail there. But yeah, it's a pretty simple design skin, but I do kind of like it. I guess it's kind of like it gets a good way to, I guess, celebrate a birthday. And it does kind of like, you know, make sense because the BAD is so large, it could hold a lot of candy, so it makes sense that the largest blimp would be a pinata, so it holds the most candy. The Scarab Bad is going to go at the top of A tier. The only reason is because I like beetles. I think beetles are pretty interesting and pretty cool animals. I do kind of like how this is based off, of course, based off a beetle. Even though the movement I'm not really kind of too much of a fan of. Just feel like it's a bit much at times. Regardless, I still think it's a pretty cool scene overall, just like, you know, being based off a beetle. So yeah, it's going to go at the top of A tier. So that was all the BAD skins, and then there's this one, which is the old-timey balloons. Put this one at bottom of D tier, just mainly just because this is basically a filter for the balloons. They just have like an old-timey-wimey filter on it, which I guess maybe if you like that look, I guess would be okay. But the thing is that BTD6 is very bright and vibrant, has very bright and vibrant colors. I feel like this doesn't really kind of match. It just looks very off-putting having these kind of like, you know, desaturated MOAB skins with that's like kind of clashing with this kind of like bright and vibrant background. So I'm going to put the old kind of like timey-wimey skin in the bottom of D tier. And with that, this is my final ranking for every single MOAB skin BTD6. Hopefully you can add more, primarily in the ZOMG and DDT department, as I think we have a good selection for kind of all the other MOAB class wins. Especially kind of like the base standard MOAB, we don't really need any more in my opinion. But yeah, this is my final ranking. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and join the Discord. Link is down below in the description. I would also like to hear your opinions on, I guess, the MOAB skins as a total, or I guess you can maybe disagree on whatever MOAB skin you see here. I do think this is a pretty, I guess, okay listing overall, although I guess it's my opinion, so who cares. But still. I do like the kind of MOAB skins overall. The only one that I really just don't like is probably the BFB Bats one. That's really about it. It's just these ones, I'm just kind of like, whatever. This doesn't really make too much sense in my opinion. But all the other ones I think look pretty good. I think whoever designed the skins and came up with the ideas definitely did a good job with this.